Pakikinggan ang bawat panig.
When you fight for justice, think about the queer people.
Kung hindi kami magkukwento, sino ang magkukwento para sa amin?
Ang mga panawagan, ipababatid.
Hindi talaga ito masusing pinag-aralan ng gobyerno.
The women who are beaten and abused. It's time to listen to their voices.
Tunghayan ang iba't ibang boses. Mga kwento mula sa iba't ibang anggulo. Dito lang sa Point of View. Bago magsara ang ika-19 na kongreso, nagtalaga ang mababang kapulungan ng bago nitong tagapagsalita. At sa ating episode ngayong linggo, makakasama po natin ang spokesperson ng House of Representatives. Kilalanin natin siya, alamin ang kanyang mga plano, mga komento at direksyong tatahakin bilang kasangga ng media sa paghahatid ng mga impormasyon mula sa Kamara. Ako po si Rose Babiera at ito ang Point of View. And here with us today is House Spokesperson Attorney Princess Abante. Attorney, welcome po sa ating programa.
Hi Rose, and thank you for having me here.
Alright, so pag-usapan po natin itong pag-take ninyong role na, bagong role na ito.
Yes.
When you were asked to take on this role, was it something that you've been eyeing or expecting?
No, definitely
Paano nyo po
not.
tinanggap itong role na ito?
I remember getting a call, and then they mentioned na would you be open to accept the role as the spokesperson of the House of Representatives. I had to, parang na double take pa nga ako na sure ba kayo na ako? And immediately I said I am overwhelmingly flattered. Of course, I had to pray about it, think about it, because I used to be the spokesperson of the city mayor Hani Lacuna prior to this job, no. So ang liit lang ng mundo namin sa Manila na feeling ko, at during the time ang lawak-lawak na, tapos biglang malalagay ako sa Kamara de Representante. I had to talk to my family, but I mentioned that I would want to stay on sa previous job ko at least until matapos yung campaign period. And then we'll talk after that. So, yun yung nangyari. After elections, we discussed, and I asked kung ano yung expectations of me, no? And basically, we want to be able to talk to not only the media but to the public of what the House of Representatives actually do. Ano yung trabaho niya, ano yung mga ginagawa niya, mga sinusulong nila. Not just as an individual members of the House, but the House as the institution. And especially now that we are in the world of fake news, artificial intelligence, social media trolls, we wanted to streamline the communication para mas maayos, mas malinaw, mas tama, mas accurate. So, and I'm interested in taking on the challenge to do that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, pero this is the first time that the House of Representatives having a speaker,
A spokesperson, yes. As far as I know, yes.
What raised the need for this po? Ano yung mga, what lead up to the decision na we will be having a spokesperson?
Well, I think especially during the 19th Congress, napakaraming issues na tinalakay ng House, hindi lang sa mga legislative agenda na ginawa nila, kasama na rin yung mga investigations na hinandle nila, the super committees na tinatawag natin, the TRICOM, QUADCOM, QUINTACOM, and the Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability, diba? So, napakaraming information, napakaraming issues na dinidiscuss, and from what I understand, they felt the need na magkaroon ng isang boses for the whole institution. Again, we're not discounting na dapat each member of the House would be able to speak for themselves and for their advocacies, but as an institution, they wanted to have an additional layer of communications. So right now, that is what I'm trying to accomplish for the House of Representatives.
Alright. You mentioned earlier na hindi na po bago sa inyo itong role na to kasi you worked in the Public Information Office of Manila. But when you took on the role, sabi niyo nga po kanina, isa sa mga bagay na tinanong niyo talaga is what are expected of me.
Yes.
When you were, nung nag-assume na kayo ng office, what were the things that you really prepared for? Or ano yung mga expectations niyo rin sa job na yun? And 1 month in, mga higit isang buwan na po
Yeah.
kayo. Were there realizations that, oh, this is something different from what I expected?
Yeah, definitely, because number one, it's on the national level. I think na hindi ko masyado na take into consideration yung lawak talaga ng magiging trabaho, no? As you know, my father is a member of the House of Representatives from the 18th Congress. So, familiar ako sa trabaho ng isang mambabatas. Pero yung maging tagapagsalita ka ng institusyon, isang malaking bagay din siya. And as you mentioned, 1 month in, exciting yung mga naging day-to-day na mga updates na kailangan namin gawin. Kalagitnaan tayo ng panimula ng impeachment proceedings. By the time na naging parte ako ng House of Representatives, yun din yung patapos ng 19th Congress. So yung mga hinabol na mga legislative measures, yung mga naipasa ng both houses. Ngayon, as we enter the 20th Congress, dito naman din yung pagpasok ng mga bagong members, bagong mga legislative measures na gusto natin isulong para sa kapakanan ng mamamayang Pilipino. Yan yung mga tinitignan natin, especially now as we prepare for the SONA of the President. Gusto din natin marinig kung ano pa yung magiging plano ng ating Presidente at paano makakatulong dito ang Kamara de Representante.
Yes, we'll hear about later about your preparations for the SONA. You mentioned earlier that you entered the House na parang naghahabol talaga yung 19th Congress, and that's like what you entered into. Ano po ba yung climate ng 19th Congress na nadatnan nyo nung kayo na yung pumasok bilang spokesperson? Can you describe to us?
Well, the 19th Congress, lagi namin binabanggit, is one if not the most productive Congress in history. More than 1,400 measures that were passed. Hindi pa kasama dyan yung mga ibang mga resolutions, investigations, and other legislative work na ginagawa ng each member of the House. Kaya very exciting. Madami tayong mga gustong isulong, yung the House as an institution, madaming mga bagay na tinatapos for the investigations na naging malaking impact at eye-opener sa maraming mamamayan natin. No? So, it was pero prior to that, din kasi, na ako insider observer because I was closely watching din yung mga iba't ibang mga committee hearings din nila. So, ngayon, as we enter the 20th Congress, we are looking forward kung itong mga sinimulan from the 19th Congress na mga investigations, would they be continued? Siyempre, iba't iba rin naman yung composition ng bawat kongreso. So, titingnan natin kung meron pa rin magpipick up ng iniwan ng 19th Congress para ipagpatuloy sa 20th Congress. I'm very confident na meron yan. At kung ano yung magiging resulta nito eventually, which would be bills to be filed, especially for media and communications, yung naging resulta ng TRICOM hearings, which is to address yung how do we combat fake news, and should there be regulations for different online platforms so that we can assure the public that what we are putting forth are truthful and accurate.
You've mentioned earlier that one of the reason why there's a spokesperson of the House is an added layer of communication. And nakita po natin yun na parang visible talaga yung added layer na ito. We've seen you in press briefings almost every day for the past weeks.
Well, I think parang once a week halos.
Yes, may mga statements po na nilalabas ng House. And
definitely.
just like what you've mentioned, clear yung mga naipapahayag na mga statements galing sa House of Representatives. Now let's talk about ano naman po kumbaga commitment ninyo hindi lang sa House of Representatives pero sa sarili nyo na rin na when you took on this role or this is something that I would focus on. You've mentioned this earlier na ayaw talaga natin yung fake news. But
Yes.
can we talk about the direction that you are taking as a spokesperson?
Prior to becoming a spokesperson, whether that was here in the House of Representatives or in the local government unit, that has always been my advocacy in helping educate our public yung sa mga iba't ibang aspeto. As a lawyer, madaming mga lumalapit sa akin asking for opinion and legal advice. And the hardest then, which should be the easiest role, is to explain to them in the way na maiintindihan talaga ng mas nakakarami yung mga proseso, mga yung part ng mga nangyayari sa ating gobyerno. Ngayon, mas malawak nga lang ang aking audience. And yun naman ang lagi kong gustong mangyari. Yung pagpapaliwanag ng mga ginagawa ng ating pamahalaan ay mas maiintindihan. Yung mga tanong nila ay as much as possible yung kaya natin sagutin dun sa tamang konteksto. That's the important aspect kasi minsan, especially sa social media, na minsan kulang o wala sa konteksto yung mga nagiging mga paratang, paninira. Gusto natin maintindihan din ng mga tao yung sistema, programa at yung tamang konteksto ng mga issues na nire-raise ngayon.
So, you could say na public-oriented talaga yung communication.
Yes, dapat. Oo, and I hope that I would be able to accomplish that. And it's not a one-man job eh. If kasama kayo mga friends in the media to help us cascade these information to the public para mas makita nila, mas maintindihan nila at hopefully, mas maging participative sila sa proseso para mas magkaroon tayo ng mas maayos na mga polisiya, mas effective na mga programa that we would see the changes in our society.
Yeah, you've mentioned about changes. Ano naman po yung mga personal efforts on your side in fighting misinformations as a spokesperson? I believe yung misinformation, lahat po naman tayo, dapat isinusulong natin yan, yung truthful reporting
Yes.
and dissemination of information, lalo na sa publiko na hindi naman alam lahat. But what are your efforts? What makes you different sa added layer ng communication na to, na yung pagiging added layer nyo will make a difference?
Sabi nila, pag ang isang kasinungalingan, paulit-ulit mong sinasabi, nagiging katotohanan sa marami. Kaya kailangan, pag sa simula pa lang, ina-address mo na yung kasinungalingan tinatama na natin. At yun siguro yung gusto kong mangyari. Na pag nakikita natin na may maling konteksto, ilagay natin sa tamang konteksto para tama.
Upfront.
Yes. Pag may kasinungalingan, i-kontrahin natin at ibigay natin yung katotohanan. Doon nanggagaling yung fake news Doon nanggagaling yung mga maling mga information na umiikot na nagiging totoo sa iba. Naging sistema na siya pagdating sa social media. And siguro, nakita natin marami na rin mga spokesperson na lumalabas ngayon. At nakikita din natin na mas marami din ngayon yung talagang hindi na nangingimi na sabihin yung tama kaysa yung hayaan na lang yung kasinungalingan ang matatanggap ng tao.
Nata-challenge po ng mga vloggers lately. And there's a House hearing about this.
Yes.
Yung credibility ng mga reporters, mga broadcasters, dahil sila na yung nilalapitan ng tao. And I would relate this to what you mentioned earlier. Dahil sila minsan yung nagsasalita sa tono ng masa. Kaya sila yung nilalapitan. Ano po yung maaring steps ninyo para mas pahalagahan ng tao, yung media? And at the same time, ano yung panawagan ninyo sa media para yung mga information na dinedisseminate nila mula sa mga pahayag na galing sa inyo ay tama at saka factual?
Naalala ko yung isang, I think, Attorney Claire din to yung pag-uusap ng tamang pamamahayag, diba? Yung pagkakaiba nung facts and opinion And you have to differentiate na whether you are a professional media practitioner or sinasabi natin you are a vlogger or digital content creator, lalong-lalo na if you produce artificial intelligence content, make sure na what you're stating are facts, not just opinion. That is not based on anything. Yun yung nagiging problema. Marami yung mas gustong maniwala sa mga opinion na hindi back ng tamang information. I think we need to continue to strive to achieve that. Lagi nga sinasabi, diba, journalists have professional ethics that they are following. And pag ikaw na rin ay umakyat sa level ng mayroon ka yung boses mo ay nakaka-influensya, whether may label ka na journalist, vlogger, or ano man yan, regular na tao, yung professional ethics must be attached right away. Kasi pinakikinggan ka eh. Gusto mo yung atensyon, kunin mo din yung responsibilidad na kasama nito.
You're also a channel of opinions coming from the members of the House of Representatives. And this might be something na na-experience nyo na for the past month that you've been in the spokesperson of House of Rep. Pero if ever mapagdaanan nyo po, there are diversity and plurality of stances na mula sa iba't ibang mambabatas natin sa Kongreso. Marami po tayong kongresista. And you are speaking in behalf of all of them. The institution. How would you reconcile yung mga salungat na opinyon ng mga nagsasalungat na opinyon ng mga miyembro ng Kamara when you stand in front of the media and the public as speaking in behalf of the whole institution?
Well, if you notice dun sa mga briefings, I don't discuss matters that are still pending. Kasi magdidesisyon pa sila eh. They will still conduct committee hearings, debates, diba? So yung mga bagay na yan, ito ay yan ay doon pa makikita mo yung individual na boses ng mga miyembro ng Kamara. Ang boses ko ay papasok pag meron ng talagang opisyal na pahayag o opisyal na resolution or action na pinagdesisyonan ng Kamara as a collegial body. Pagdating kasi dyan, for example, yung mga issues on yung mga batas na naipasa ng 19th Congress, a lot of them are not passed by all, but of course by the majority. But that is as a collegial body, yun yung posisyon ng House of Representatives. So that's what I will continue to advocate. But of course, each individual House members still has that opportunity to voice out their opinion and position on different matters.
How do you maintain the relationship between the House members as a spokesperson?
So far, kasi like I said, nung pumasok ako, patapos na yung 19th Congress, and I've met some of them, and doon naman sa Kongreso, everyone ay professional. Kasama sa isang collegial body yung they all may have differences of opinion, position, advocacies, but there will always be mutual respect.
Yes. And that mutual respect is evident naman po sa mga nakita nyo ngayon sa mga kongresista natin.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, okay. So let's talk about the 20th Congress. Magbubukas na po ang bagong kongreso natin. Mayroon po bang mga usapin na ng mga priority bills o mga batas at polisiya na isusulong at isususog natin sa 20th Congress?
Today, as we're discussing today is June 30. Nagsimula na kanina as of, I think, 12 noon, no, yung initial na pag-file ng mga bills. At kanina, nakapag-file na sa first 10, I think, na mga bills na na-file ni Speaker Martin Romualdez are bills that address basic needs. For example, the bill number 1 sa House of Representatives is, if I can check lang yung actual title niya is, yung addresses yung it's the rice bill where to strengthen further the NFA para magkaroon ng tugon pag pangangailangan at maging maayos yung pagbigay ng suporta sa ating mga magsasaka at kalakip nito to ensure na magkakaroon pa rin ng affordable na kanin
mga
because
consumer.
alam naman natin rice is life sa
Yes.
Pilipinas. Hindi kumpleto ang isang meal mo pag wala kang kanin sa bawat hapagkainan. So, yung pagbalanse ng pangangailangan ng suporta ng ating magsasaka at making sure na magiging affordable pa rin ito sa ating mga consumers, yan po ay yan yung unang bill na final ni Speaker Martin Romualdez. Meron pang iba't ibang mga bills ngayon, different ones, katulad ng addressing education by assisting private schools para magkaroon ng support from the government at also I understand marami na rin na nag-file ng mga bills on the wage hike bill, part also sa priority bills ni Speaker Romualdez is yung establishment of the Center for Disease and Control. So, pag-address pag may mga amendments on the Universal Healthcare Act, para mas maging malawak ang scope ng PhilHealth benefits. So marami po tayo nakikita ngayon na iba't ibang bills na na-file na and we are looking forward na pag na-organize na ng husto ang House of Representatives na mapag-usapan na talaga siya sa mga committee levels.
Okay, so as of now, we're seeing bills na tumutugon sa mga basic needs.
Yes.
Basically, basic services bills.
Yes, food and price stability, education, access, health access, jobs, employment, creation. I think marami na rin yung sa housing and of course, national security.
So that's what we're seeing and expecting.
Yes.
Okay. You mentioned earlier na powerful nga po yung 19th Congress when it comes to sa pagpapasa ng mga batas. Are there any personal laws or personal discussions during the 19th Congress na you personally want na mapagpatuloy sa 20th Congress?
Well, definitely, isa sa mga usapin tungkol sa pagtaas ng sahod ng ating mga manggagawa. Napakahaba ng tinahak ng measure na yan, no, na umabot tayo at least almost to the finish line ng 19th Congress. We are looking forward na magkaroon ulit ng healthy discussion, healthy debate para dito. We are also looking into, ako personally, yung mga pagtulong sa mga basic educational institutions para mas maging accessible ang basic education sa ating mga kabataang Pilipino. Yung mga napag-usapan, well, as communicators, yun nga, yung mga pinag-usapan sa TRICOM para ano ba talaga yung mga kailangan nating safeguards on the dissemination of information, especially on the various online platforms na hindi naman siya makaka-encroach sa freedom of the press and expression.
So, nandito na po tayo sa 20th Congress.
Yes.
Maliit lang po yung time na in-spend nyo with the 19th Congress. But definitely, you have people around you talking about it. And you've also studied how the 19th Congress has functioned as an institution. Ano po ba yung mga hakbang or mga bagay na naobserbahan ninyo in the 19th Congress na nasabi ninyo na ay hindi na natin to dadalhin sa 20th Congress?
Hindi ko masasabi. Pero mas gugustuhin kong tingnan yung dapat dalhin natin sa 20th Congress. Which are, ang nakita ko, for example, kay Speaker Martin Romualdez, yung inclusivity niya in making sure that the party leaders are consulted in the various measures that the House is prioritizing. Kaya mas nagiging participative lahat ng mga members at nagkakaroon ng maayos na diskusyon at mabilis na pag-usad ng ating mga legislative measures. We are looking forward to that. yung mga negative aspects, hindi mo naman makokontrol talaga yan eh. But you can work on what we can do better. And if we've done it in the 19th Congress, we are looking for that. We can do it again and probably better on the 20th Congress.
Alright, so let's talk about moving forward and in recent events na rin po. How are you looking on how the Senate is looking at the House now? Especially ngayon pong mas umigting ito at mas naging mainit nitong nag-start ang impeachment trial. Marami pong pasaring ating mga Senate President at ang ating mataas na kapulungan sa House. How are you looking at this as the spokesperson?
I think kasama naman talaga yan, no? Like I said, even naman in the House and definitely for sa dalawang chambers, sa House at sa Senate.
There's always tension.
There will always be disagreements,
Yes.
difference of opinions and stance on various matters. But the goal is to work together. And I think magpapatuloy naman to sa 20th Congress. It doesn't mean na there will be differences in position, ibig sabihin, hindi na makakapagtrabaho magkasama. At yun ang nakikita naman natin ngayon. Yung mga bagay na to is part of discourse eh.
Yes.
So, but we see how our members of the House of Representatives through the panel of prosecutors are addressing the concerns of the Senate, the impeachment court, and how we will be able on our end to clarify the orders that the impeachment court is giving. So, tuloy-tuloy lang naman siya.
Weren't you taking aback sa mga statements po ni Senate President Jesus Cordero na he's using words, ang tigas ng ulo ng House?
Well, again, we want to continue
Working
the
with
work.
them.
Yes. So, lagi katulad nga na sinasabi ko, may mga, hindi naman kami nagpapahirap, di naman sa matigas ang ulo. May mga bagay na sinusunod, may mga bagay na pinapaklarify, may mga bagay na hindi naman ginawa para magpahirap, at kasama to sa diskurso ng ating demokrasya.
Regarding the clarifications, can you clarify once again yung about po sa pag-defer ninyo dun sa pagkuha ng remand ng articles of impeachment, as well as yung sa issue na kinakaharap na binabato ng Senate sa inyo about the entry of appearance?
As I answered before, doon sa remand ng articles of impeachment, the plenary, well, there was a motion to defer the acceptance
From
of
the plenary.
of the articles of impeachment, which was approved by the plenary. So the House, after that was approved, cannot accept it because it
should
was
act accordingly.
Yes, because it was the plenary decision. Number two, doon naman sa entry of appearance, again, it was not deliberately refused, but hindi lang tinanggap kasi nung dumating yung tao na
Mensahe.
magpapa-receive, hindi naman sinabi kung ano siya. It was unlabeled, walang description kung para saan yun, para kanino. Kaya hindi siya tinanggap nung taong nag-receive sa House of Representatives.
So, I know that there's a spokesperson as well dun sa impeachment trial na yan who will speak in behalf
Yes.
of all the impeachment proceeding. But how are we looking at the status or how the impeachment trial is rolling out po in your opinion?
I can only speak for the House's position, diba? Like I said, without dwelling into the details of the legal strategy of the panel of prosecutors, the House maintains its position that we have done our part in the impeachment process. That we are compliant with the constitutional requirement in the transmission of the articles of impeachment to the Senate. Now, it is up now to the Senate to continue the process by trying and deciding the case as an impeachment court.
We're talking about the process. Just to clear this out, naninindigan po ba kayo that the House, naninindigan po ba yung House na the impeachment trial should proceed forthwith? Kaisa po ba kayo sa nagsusulong nun?
Well, hindi naman kami yung nagsasabi niyan eh. Like ko sinasabi, ang nagsasabi niyan yung saligang batas. Ang gusto natin, masunod ng saligang batas.
And right now,
At ang sinasabi ng saligang batas, dapat magtuloy-tuloy ang impeachment trial agad-agad to try and decide.
and right now, do you see na there's a delay or nakita nyo naman pong nagro-roll out itong impeachment trial process?
Well, tao na rin na nakakita kung ano ng parte tayo ng impeachment trial. Pero mas tutuon na lang ng pansin ang House of Representatives dun sa ano na yung mga dapat sunod na mangyari at ang patuloy kaming we maintain our position that dapat magtuloy-tuloy na ang usod ng kaso, lalong-lalo na sa presentation of evidence.
Alright, so moving forward po, before we let you go, we're down to the last parts of this interview. We're just going to ask how are the preparations now of the Congress, House of Representatives sa nalalapit po na State of the Nation address ng ating Pangulong Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos.
I have limited information as of now, but definitely the Secretariat has already conducted its interagency coordination regarding the security during the day of the SONA. Our friends in the media already also had their coordination meeting kung paano yung pag-cover ng ating SONA. So, yan pa lang yung meron akong mga information. Magtutuloy-tuloy pa to as we near the SONA date. I know everybody is looking forward to what is in store for our country by the speech of our president, and we are preparing for that para makita ng lahat, hindi lang yung mga miyembro ng Kongreso, both from the House and the Senate, pero lahat ng mamamayang Pilipino kung ano ang ating direksyon ngayon. At patuloy na susuporta ang House of Representatives para makamit natin tong mga goals na ito, hindi para sa pangsarili o pampolitika, pero para sa mamamayan.
Dagdag ko na rin po sa preparations, magsisimula na po ulit yung mga sessions natin sa
Yes.
Kongreso. Nasa ang stage na po ba tayo when it comes to like preparing yung mga bagong papasok sa Congress, yung mga first-timers?
Yes, the House recently concluded their executive legislative course. They had 41 neophytes and returning legislators. Doon pinag-usapan yung the usual, paano yung proseso ng pagpapasa ng batas. Nagkaroon din sila ng mga pag-uusap kung paano, nagkaroon din sila ng mga mock committee hearings. They were able to go to the plenary hall para ma-discuss yung rules to ensure na all of our members are prepared for the 20th Congress.
All right. You've mentioned earlier, kung alam po namin, we're very much aware, attorney, that your father, Congressman Benny
Yes.
Abante, is a strong force in the 19th Congress. He's faced a
Thank you.
lot of issues and even mga tao. Are there a thing or two that you learned and you heard from him nung kinuha niyo po itong role na ito?
What I've learned from my father from the start is just to stand your ground, especially when you are standing on truth and justice. You may fear public opinion, pero what is important is that you're fighting for what is right for our country and for our fellow Filipino. So nakita ko yon dun sa Quadcom hearings, and we went through all of the social media bashings in that process, but you know, his stand never changed. Sometimes even in issues that are usually unpopular, and that's what I would want to continue. But of course, as a spokesperson, I do not speak for myself. I speak for the institution. I have to always advocate the position of the institution that I speak for, and that to ensure that what they are representing is something that not only would be known by the public but would be understood. So I hope that I would be able to accomplish that in the next coming months.
So you're saying that your office will not fear public criticisms?
Well, I have not feared, well, of course, everybody
Yeah.
fears public criticism. So we have to be honest naman. But public criticisms will always be there regardless of what you do. So if kung naabutin ka sa criticisms, make sure that what you're doing is what is right, what is truthful, and what is for our country.
Alright, so for the last message na lang po, what are we expecting from you and from the House for the days to come?
Well, from me, I hope that I would be able to communicate, like I said, not just to our media colleagues, but also to the public, kung ano yung ginagawa ng Kamara de Representante. Also, in that way, kung mas naiintindihan nila yung mga nangyayari, mga ginagawa, magiging parte din sila na sila rin naman ang magbato sa amin kung ano yung dapat pa namin gawin. And nandiyan dyan yung ating mga members ng House of Representatives para marinig nila yon at makapag-acto rin kami kung paano tayo makakahanap pa ng mas maayos at magandang solusyon sa mga problema ng ating bansa.
Thank you so much, Attorney Princess
Thank
Abante,
you.
for this. Nakita po namin kung ano yung role and responsibilities ng isang spokesperson ng House of Representatives.
Thank you,
and
Rose, for inviting
we're expecting so much from that.
Pressure. Thank you very
so
much.
much po, Attorney. And that has been Attorney Princess Abante, House spokesperson. Maraming salamat po. Muli ako si Rose Babiera. Abangan nyo kaming muli sa susunod na linggo. Dito lang sa Point of View.